You're seeing this video because something is shifting. This isn't random scrolling or algorithm coincidence. You've been chosen to receive this transmission at this exact moment because your reality is about to reorganize itself in ways that will leave you breathless. What I'm about to share with you represents the final test before breakthrough. You see, there's a frequency that less than 1% of people ever tune into. And if you're watching this right now, you've already passed the preliminary screening. The question is, are you ready to step through the portal that's opening for you? Most people spend their entire lives waiting for external validation that their dreams are materializing. They search for signs in their bank account, in their relationships, in their circumstances. But here's what the universe has been trying to tell you through every delay, every closed door, every moment of seeming emptiness. The void before manifestation is not absence, it's preparation. You've reached what quantum physicists call the collapse point, the moment when infinite possibilities collapse into singular reality. Every meditation you've done, every visualization you've held, every moment you've chosen faith over fear has brought you to these exact coordinates in space and time. You are standing at the event horizon of your own becoming. Think about this for a moment. In quantum mechanics, particles exist in superposition until they're observed. They exist in all possible states simultaneously until consciousness collapses them into a specific reality. Your dreams, your desires, your deepest longings have been existing in this same superposition, waiting for the perfect moment to collapse into your three-dimensional experience. And that moment is now approaching with the inevitability of sunrise. But here's where most people stumble. Right at the threshold of receiving everything they've asked for, they panic. They tighten their grip. They start checking their phone for confirmation, refreshing their email for the call, looking for proof that something is happening. This is exactly backwards. The art of manifestation in its final stages requires something counterintuitive: complete energetic surrender. Consider the wisdom embedded in nature's most powerful processes. A seed doesn't question whether it will become a tree. It doesn't check progress reports or create backup plans. It simply surrenders to the intelligence that created it, trusting the same force that spins galaxies and orchestrates the dance of atoms. This is the frequency you're being invited to embody now. The cosmic joke is that everything you've been seeking has been seeking you with equal intensity. While you've been wondering if your prayers are being heard, the universe has been orchestrating a symphony of synchronicities to deliver exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. The timing isn't late. It's precisely calibrated to your soul's evolution. Here's what changes everything. Release is not about giving up your desires. It's about giving up your attachment to how they must appear. When you release the death grip on the specific form your dreams must take, you allow the universe to deliver something far more extraordinary than your limited imagination could have conceived. This is where quantum entanglement becomes your ally. In quantum physics, when two particles become entangled, they remain connected across any distance, instantly affecting each other regardless of space and time. Your consciousness has become entangled with your desires. The moment you truly let go, the invisible threads connecting you to your manifestation begin to vibrate with receiving energy rather than wanting energy. Wanting energy pushes things away. It operates from lack, from the assumption that you don't have what you desire. Receiving energy draws everything toward you. It operates from abundance, from the knowing that what belongs to you is already yours in the quantum field, simply waiting to materialize in physical form. Take a breath right here and feel into this truth. You are not trying to get something from the universe. You are allowing the universe to give something to you. This shift in perception changes your entire energetic signature. Instead of broadcasting need, you begin broadcasting readiness. And readiness, my friend, is the frequency that collapses superposition into reality. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Your mind is probably generating a dozen reasons why this doesn't apply to you, why your situation is different, why you've been waiting too long for this to be true. This resistance is not your enemy. It's the final guardian at the gate, testing whether you're truly ready to step into the next octave of your existence. Every hero's journey includes this moment of ultimate testing right before the treasure is revealed. You've been building spiritual muscle through every challenge, every disappointment, every moment when you chose to keep believing despite evidence to the contrary. That strength you've cultivated is about to pay dividends beyond your wildest imagination. The universe operates on perfect timing, not human timing. What seems like delay from your perspective is actually divine coordination from the quantum perspective. Every element of your manifestation has been aligning behind the scenes. People have been moved into position. Resources have been gathering. Opportunities have been ripening. The entire field of possibility has been reorganizing itself around your highest good. This is why surrender feels so terrifying and so liberating simultaneously. You're not just letting go of control over outcomes. You're letting go of the illusion that you ever had control in the first place. You're stepping into partnership with the same intelligence that beats your heart without your conscious direction and grows your fingernails while you sleep. Here's a practice that will shift everything for you. Instead of visualizing what you want, begin visualizing yourself as someone who naturally receives what they desire. See yourself moving through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the universe supports them. Feel the energy of being someone for whom manifestation flows effortlessly, not because you're special, but because you're aligned. This identity shift is the secret that separates the 1% from everyone else. Most people identify as someone who is trying to manifest. You're being invited to identify as someone who naturally attracts their desires because they've learned to match the frequency of receiving. Take a moment right now and comment below with this exact phrase: I am ready to receive what's already mine. Don't just type it casually. Feel it as you write it. Let it be a declaration to the quantum field that you're stepping out of wanting energy and into receiving energy. This is your conscious signal to the universe that you're prepared for what's coming. When you truly embody this receiving frequency, synchronicities begin to cascade. The right book falls off the shelf at the perfect moment. You have a chance encounter that changes everything. An opportunity appears that seems too good to be true, but is actually just the universe finally having a clear channel to deliver what it's been trying to give you all along. But here's what no one talks about in manifestation teachings. The final phase before breakthrough often looks like nothing is happening. This is actually the moment when everything is happening. Behind the scenes, reality is restructuring itself. The quantum field is collapsing your desires from possibility into probability into inevitability. This apparent stillness before manifestation is not emptiness. It's pregnancy. It's the sacred pause before birth. It's the universe taking a deep breath before delivering miracles into your experience. Most people interpret this pause as failure and give up right before their breakthrough. You're not going to make that mistake. Understanding energy frequencies will accelerate everything for you. Gratitude vibrates at 540 Hz. Love vibrates at 528 Hz. Joy operates around 540 Hz. Fear vibrates at 100 Hz. Doubt operates around 125 Hz. When you consciously choose thoughts and emotions that operate at higher frequencies, you literally tune yourself to the radio station where your desires are broadcasting. This isn't metaphor. This is measurable science. Your thoughts generate electromagnetic frequencies that interact with the quantum field in ways we're only beginning to understand. When you align your personal frequency with the frequency of your desires, you create what physicists call constructive interference, where waves amplify each other rather than canceling each other out. Every emotion you feel is either aligning you with your desires or creating static in the signal. This is why mindfulness becomes crucial at this stage. You're not trying to be positive all the time. You're becoming conscious of the frequency you're broadcasting and making intentional choices about which energies you want to amplify. Resistance will show up in subtle forms now. It might appear as sudden busyness that distracts you from your practices. It might manifest as relationships that drain your energy or circumstances that test your faith. This isn't the universe conspiring against you. It's the old reality making one final attempt to keep you in patterns that no longer serve your evolution. Here's the key to moving through resistance without getting stuck. Don't fight it, and don't feed it. Acknowledge it the way you might acknowledge clouds passing through the sky. They're temporary phenomena moving through your awareness, not permanent features of your reality. Your job is to remain anchored in the frequency of your choosing, regardless of what weather patterns move through your experience. Inspired action will begin flowing through you naturally when you're truly aligned. This isn't the forced action that comes from impatience or fear. This is the effortless action that arises when you're in partnership with universal intelligence. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time without trying. Conversations will unfold that open doors you didn't know existed. Resources will appear exactly when you need them. The difference between inspired action and forced action is felt in your body. Forced action creates tension, stress, and exhaustion. Inspired action feels easeful, energizing, and aligned. It's the difference between swimming against the current and allowing the river to carry you downstream. If what I'm sharing is resonating in your bones, if something inside you is recognizing the truth of these words, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency of living. Hit that subscribe button as a commitment to yourself to stay tuned to the wavelength where miracles are normal and synchronicities are daily occurrences. Trust in perfect timing becomes your superpower now. Every spiritual tradition speaks of divine timing because it's a fundamental law of how manifestation operates. Seeds don't sprout the moment they're planted. Babies aren't born the moment they're conceived. Your dreams aren't going to materialize the moment you have them, but they will manifest at the perfect time for maximum impact and minimum resistance. Delays are not denials. They're divine incubation periods where unseen forces are arranging circumstances for optimal outcome. What looks like the universe ignoring your requests is actually the universe loving you enough to give you something better than what you originally asked for. Trust the intelligence that's orchestrating your life even when you can't see the bigger picture. Appreciation becomes a manifestation amplifier when you understand how to use it correctly. Instead of appreciating what you have in order to get more, appreciate what you have as recognition that you live in an abundant universe that's constantly providing for you. This subtle shift in motivation changes the energetic signature of your gratitude from manipulation to genuine acknowledgement. When you appreciate from this place of recognition rather than strategy, you align yourself with the fundamental truth that the universe is inherently generous. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs to earn abundance and start seeing yourself as someone who naturally receives it, because that's how this generous universe operates. Visualization becomes effortless when you stop trying to make something happen and start allowing yourself to remember what already exists in the quantum field. Your desires aren't future possibilities you're trying to create. They're present moment realities existing in quantum superposition, waiting for your consciousness to collapse them into physical experience. Instead of visualizing to convince the universe to give you something, visualize to remember what's already yours. Feel into the energy of living your desired reality, not as something you hope to achieve, but as something you're remembering how to access. This remembering creates coherence between your current identity and your expanded identity. Movement and embodiment accelerate manifestation because they help you literally embody the energy of your desires. Your desires aren't just mental concepts. They have an energetic signature that wants to be expressed through your physical form. When you move your body in ways that feel aligned with your expanded identity, you create coherence between your mental, emotional, and physical bodies. This doesn't mean you need to dance or do yoga, though those can be wonderful practices. It means you allow your body to express the energy of what you're calling in. Walk like someone who naturally receives what they desire. Sit like someone who trusts the universe. Breathe like someone who knows their dreams are already on their way. Here's where everything I've shared crystallizes into practical magic. You are being invited to step into a new identity right now. Not when your desires manifest. Not when you see external proof. Right now. The version of you who naturally receives what they desire isn't a future possibility. It's a present moment choice. Every moment you choose to embody this receiving identity, you strengthen the quantum entanglement between your current reality and your desired reality. Every moment you choose thoughts, emotions, and actions from this elevated identity, you literally rewire your nervous system to expect miracles rather than struggle. This is the difference between trying to manifest from your current identity and stepping into the identity that naturally attracts what you desire. Most people try to pull their dreams down to their current level of being. You're being invited to rise up to the level of being that matches your dreams. Take another moment right now and comment below with one word that captures the energy of who you're becoming. Not who you've been, not who you hope to be, but who you're choosing to embody starting right now. Let this word be your energetic signature to the quantum field, your declaration of the frequency you're choosing to broadcast. The collective consciousness is shifting, and you're part of that shift. Every person who chooses to live from receiving energy rather than wanting energy contributes to the morphic field that makes it easier for others to make the same choice. Your personal transformation isn't just about you. It's about contributing to the collective awakening that's happening on this planet. This is why timing is so important. You're not just manifesting personal desires. You're participating in a larger evolutionary process where humanity is learning to co-create consciously with universal intelligence. Your breakthrough becomes a beacon of possibility for others who are ready to step into their own receiving frequency. The depth of this frequency mastery extends far beyond what we can explore in a single transmission. While we're touching on these fundamental principles today, there's an entire quantum framework of 9 master frequencies that govern how consciousness creates reality itself. In my complete guide, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery, I reveal the step-by-step practices for moving from unconscious manifestation to becoming the broadcast itself, transforming from seeking to being. It's linked in the pinned comment below for those ready to explore the complete system. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this. Everything you've been seeking has been seeking you. Every prayer you've whispered, every dream you've held, every moment you've chosen faith over fear has been building to this moment of recognition. You are not separate from what you desire. You never have been. The seeming gap between where you are and where you want to be is not distance. It's frequency. And frequency can be changed in an instant through the power of conscious choice. You have that power right now. You've always had that power. The only thing that changes is your willingness to use it. Subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent with this frequency of conscious creation. The more of us who live from this place of knowing that we are powerful co-creators with universal intelligence, the more the world reflects that truth back to us through miraculous synchronicities and effortless manifestation. But let's go deeper into the mechanics of what's actually happening in your field right now. There's a phenomenon in quantum physics called quantum tunneling, where particles can pass through barriers that should be impossible to cross according to classical physics. Your consciousness is about to experience its own version of quantum tunneling, where you'll suddenly find yourself on the other side of limitations that seemed absolutely solid just moments before. This tunneling effect explains why breakthroughs often feel sudden, even though they've been building for months or years. One day you're struggling with the same patterns, and the next day, those patterns simply don't exist in your reality anymore. It's not that you gradually overcame them. It's that your consciousness tunneled through the barrier into a parallel reality where those limitations never existed. Here's what makes this even more extraordinary. The version of you that exists without these limitations isn't something you need to become. It's something you need to remember. In the quantum field, all possible versions of you exist simultaneously. The struggling version, the abundant version, the confident version, the version living your dream life. They're all equally real, all equally present, all equally available. Most people spend their entire lives trying to transform from one version to another, not realizing that transformation is actually about shifting your attention from one already existing version to another. It's not about changing who you are. It's about remembering which version of yourself you want to animate with your consciousness. Think about this carefully. Right now, there's a version of you living your ideal life with complete ease and natural abundance. This isn't fantasy or wishful thinking. This is quantum mechanics. In the field of infinite possibility, every possible configuration of your life exists as a potential reality, waiting to be collapsed into experience through observation. The reason you're seeing this transmission now is because the barriers between these parallel versions of yourself are becoming increasingly thin. The dimensional walls are dissolving, and you're being prepared to make a conscious shift from one timeline to another. This isn't metaphor. This is the literal mechanism through which reality operates at the quantum level. But here's where it gets fascinating from a consciousness perspective. The version of you living your desired reality has been sending signals back through time, creating the synchronicities and opportunities that have been appearing in your life. Your future self is literally reaching back through the quantum field to guide your present self toward the timeline where you merge into one coherent identity. This is why you've been experiencing strange moments of knowing, sudden insights that seem to come from nowhere, unexpected clarity about directions you should take. These aren't random intuitions. They're transmissions from the version of yourself that has already navigated the path you're currently walking. Every time you've felt that inner pull towards something that didn't make logical sense, every time you've had a gut feeling about a decision, every time you've been guided to be in a certain place at a certain time, You've been receiving navigation signals from your expanded timeline self, and these signals are becoming stronger as the merger approaches. The phenomenon you're experiencing right now, this sense that something is about to shift dramatically, is actually your consciousness beginning to phase lock with your desired timeline. In physics, phase locking occurs when two oscillating systems synchronize their frequencies. Your current reality frequency is beginning to synchronize with the frequency of your desired reality. This synchronization process creates what scientists call a phase transition, a sudden reorganization where a system jumps from one stable state to another. Think of water suddenly becoming ice, or a caterpillar suddenly becoming a butterfly. The transformation appears sudden, but it's actually the result of energy building to a critical threshold where a new configuration becomes inevitable. You are approaching that critical threshold now. Every meditation you've done, every moment you've chosen love over fear, every time you've trusted your intuition despite external evidence to the contrary, has been building quantum coherence in your field. You're not just hoping for change anymore. You're literally phase transitioning into a new level of reality. Here's where the science becomes mystical in the most beautiful way. When systems undergo phase transitions, they often display what's called emergence, where new properties appear that weren't present in the original system. These emergent properties can't be predicted from knowing the individual components. They arise spontaneously when complexity reaches a critical point. You are about to experience emergence in your own life. Abilities you didn't know you had will suddenly become available. Opportunities that were invisible before will become obvious. Relationships that align with your highest path will effortlessly materialize. Resources will flow to you through channels you never could have planned or predicted. This isn't because you're getting better at manifesting. It's because you're shifting into a version of reality where what you desire is already the natural order. In this new configuration, abundance doesn't require effort, because abundance is simply how energy flows when there's no resistance to disrupt its natural patterns. If this quantum understanding is creating shifts in how you perceive reality, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to stay connected with this frequency of consciousness exploration. Your engagement helps more people discover these transmissions exactly when they need them most. But let's address something crucial that most manifestation teachings completely miss: the role of what quantum physicists call decoherence. Decoherence is what happens when a quantum system loses its coherent superposition and collapses into a definite state. In your manifestation process, decoherence occurs when you allow external noise to collapse your quantum potential into limited outcomes. Every time you check your bank account to see if your financial abundance has manifested yet, you're creating decoherence. Every time you scan your environment for evidence that your desires are materializing, you're collapsing quantum possibility into current limitation. The act of looking for proof actually prevents the very thing you're looking for from maintaining its quantum coherence. This is why the final phase before breakthrough requires what mystics call the dark night of the soul and physicists call the quantum vacuum state. It's a period where you must maintain coherence without external feedback, where you must trust the process without seeing evidence of progress. This isn't testing your faith. This is protecting your manifestation from premature decoherence. The quantum vacuum isn't empty space. It's actually the most potent creative field in existence, teeming with virtual particles and zero-point energy. When your manifestation process enters its vacuum state, it's not that nothing is happening. It's that everything is happening at such a fundamental level that it's invisible to ordinary perception. This is why spiritual traditions have always emphasized the power of the void. the importance of embracing emptiness, the necessity of sitting with uncertainty. They understood intuitively what quantum physics has proven scientifically. The vacuum state is where infinite potential gestates before emerging into manifest reality. Your current experience of apparent stillness, of waiting, of wondering if anything is actually shifting, is actually you existing in the quantum vacuum state of your own manifestation. This is the most powerful place you can be, but it requires tremendous trust because your ordinary senses can't perceive what's happening at the quantum level. Let me share something that will shift your entire relationship with this process. In quantum field theory, there's a concept called virtual particles that constantly appear and disappear in the vacuum of space. These particles exist for such brief moments that they can't be directly observed, but their effects can be measured through their influence on other particles. Your desires currently exist as virtual manifestations in the quantum field of your life. They're constantly appearing and disappearing, too brief and subtle to be detected by your ordinary awareness, but their effects are absolutely real and measurable. Every synchronicity you experience, every unexpected opportunity that appears, every moment of unexpected joy or clarity is evidence of these virtual manifestations affecting your reality. I'm curious about your own experience with these quantum manifestations. In the comments below, share a moment when you felt reality shifting around you. Perhaps a synchronicity that seemed too perfect to be coincidence, or a breakthrough that happened just when you needed it most. These stories help us all recognize the quantum field at work in our lives. As your manifestation process approaches its culmination, these virtual manifestations will begin to stabilize, spending longer and longer periods in existence until they finally collapse into permanent physical reality. What seems like sudden manifestation is actually the final stabilization of something that's been flickering in and out of existence for weeks or months. This understanding completely changes how you relate to the manifestation timeline. You're not waiting for something to begin. You're waiting for something that's already happening to become stable enough to perceive with your physical senses. Your desires aren't coming to you from somewhere else. They're solidifying from the quantum field that interpenetrates your current reality. Now let's explore the role of what physicists call entanglement entropy in your transformation process. When quantum systems become entangled, they share information instantaneously, regardless of distance. But there's a threshold beyond which entanglement becomes so complex that it creates what's called maximal entropy, where the system must either collapse or reorganize at a higher level of complexity. Your consciousness has become maximally entangled with your desired reality. The information exchange between your current self and your expanded self has reached the point where your system must reorganize. You can't go back to the previous level of complexity. The only way forward is emergence into a higher order of being. This is why you might be experiencing what feels like chaos or confusion in various areas of your life right now. Systems undergoing phase transitions always pass through a period of apparent disorder before reorganizing at a higher level. This isn't breakdown. This is breakthrough preparation. Your reality is dismantling outdated structures to make space for configurations that can support your expanded identity. The key to navigating this transition gracefully is understanding that chaos isn't the opposite of order. It's the fertile ground from which new orders emerge. Instead of trying to control or fix the apparent disorder, your role is to remain centered in the eye of the storm, trusting that intelligent reorganization is occurring even when you can't see the pattern. Here's a practice that will help you maintain coherence during this transition phase. Begin each day by consciously choosing which version of yourself you want to animate with your attention. Not the version that reacts to current circumstances, but the version that exists in the timeline where your desires have already manifested. Spend the first few minutes of your day feeling into the energy of this expanded version. How does this version of you move through the world? What does this version notice? How does this version respond to challenges? What does this version take for granted that your current version considers extraordinary? As you embody this expanded identity throughout your day, you're literally training your nervous system to expect the reality that matches this identity. You're creating new neural pathways that support the quantum timeline you're shifting into. This isn't positive thinking or visualization. This is identity coherence training at the neurological level. The reason this practice is so powerful is that your nervous system can't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual experience. When you consistently embody your expanded identity, your nervous system begins to create the biological foundation for that identity to become your lived reality. But here's where most people sabotage their own process. They embody their expanded identity for a few minutes during their morning practice, then spend the rest of the day reacting from their old identity patterns. This creates what physicists call destructive interference, where the waves of your expanded identity are canceled out by the waves of your contracted identity. True manifestation mastery requires identity coherence throughout your entire day. This doesn't mean being positive all the time or pretending everything is perfect. It means consistently choosing thoughts, emotions, and actions that align with the version of yourself that naturally lives your desired reality. Every choice point throughout your day becomes an opportunity to vote for which timeline you want to collapse into your experience. When you choose the response that your expanded self would choose, you're strengthening the quantum coherence of that timeline. When you choose the reaction that your contracted self would choose, you're reinforcing patterns that keep you locked in limitation. Take a moment to reflect on a pattern you're ready to release. Comment below with one word that represents what you're choosing to let go of as you step into this new timeline. This conscious declaration creates energetic momentum in the quantum field. This might sound overwhelming, but it's actually quite simple once you understand the mechanism. You don't need to monitor every thought or control every emotion. You just need to ask yourself one question at each choice point. What would the version of me living my desired reality choose in this moment? Trust the first answer that comes. Don't analyze it or second-guess it. Your expanded self communicates through intuition, not through mental analysis. The more you trust these intuitive downloads and act on them, the stronger the communication channel becomes between your current self and your expanded self. As this communication channel strengthens, you'll begin to experience what feels like living two lives simultaneously. Part of you will still be navigating your current reality with its apparent limitations and challenges. But another part of you will be experiencing the freedom and abundance of your desired reality with increasing clarity and frequency. This dual existence is actually a sign that the merger is approaching. You're not losing your mind or becoming disconnected from reality. You're becoming conscious of multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously, which is exactly what happens when consciousness prepares to make a quantum leap between timelines. The practice during this phase is to give more attention and energy to the expanded reality frequency than to the limited reality frequency. Notice when you're experiencing the abundance and freedom of your desired timeline, and consciously amplify those moments through appreciation and presence. Notice when you're caught in the limitations of your current timeline, and gently redirect your attention without judgment or resistance. This redirection isn't about denying your current circumstances or pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing where to place your primary attention and energy. What you give attention to, you give life to. What you withdraw attention from gradually fades from your experience. The universe is preparing to collapse your desired timeline into your primary reality, but it needs your cooperation to complete this process. Your job isn't to make it happen. Your job is to maintain coherence with the frequency of your desired reality, so that when the collapse occurs, your consciousness is already aligned with what's manifesting. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. The music is already broadcasting on a specific frequency, but you need to tune your receiver to that frequency to hear it. Your desires are already broadcasting on a specific quantum frequency, but you need to tune your consciousness to that frequency to experience them in physical reality. The tuning process is what you've been engaged in through all your spiritual practices, your mindfulness work, your commitment to growth and evolution. Every time you've chosen love over fear, trust over doubt, expansion over contraction, you've been fine-tuning your consciousness to receive the broadcast of your desired reality. But here's something extraordinary that's happening right now in this very moment. As you're absorbing these words, as these concepts are landing in your awareness, your brain is literally rewiring itself. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, but what they're really describing is consciousness reshaping the physical matter of your brain to match new patterns of understanding. Every insight that resonates, every moment of recognition, every aha that arises while you're listening is actually new neural pathways forming in real time. These aren't just temporary thoughts passing through your mind. They're permanent structural changes in your brain that create the biological foundation for your expanded reality to become your lived experience. Your nervous system is essentially downloading new software right now. Software that knows how to navigate quantum realities. Software that recognizes abundance as natural. Software that interprets synchronicities as normal communication from the universe. This downloading process will continue for hours and days after you finish watching, integrating deeper with each sleep cycle as your brain consolidates these new patterns. This is why timing is so crucial. Your consciousness had to reach a specific level of development before it could safely receive and integrate this transmission without overwhelming your system. The fact that you're here, that these words are making sense, that something inside you is saying, yes, this is true, is proof that you've reached that developmental threshold. What you're experiencing isn't just intellectual understanding, it's quantum resonance recognition. Your consciousness is remembering frequencies it once knew but forgot during the process of incarnating into physical form. These frequencies are your natural birthright, your original blueprint, the way your consciousness operated before it learned to limit itself to fit into consensus reality. The reason this recognition feels so powerful, so emotionally moving, is because you're not learning something new. You're remembering something ancient. Your soul has been waiting for this moment of remembrance, this return to your natural quantum awareness, this restoration of your innate manifesting abilities. And now, the signal is coming in clearer than ever before. The static is diminishing. The music of your dreams is becoming audible. All that remains is to surrender completely to the frequency you've been seeking, trusting that everything you've ever wanted is already playing in the quantum field, waiting for your consciousness to fully tune in and receive the transmission. You're not just watching a video. You're receiving a transmission that will continue to work in your field long after you close this browser. This transmission is encoded with frequency information that will help your consciousness maintain coherence with your desired timeline, even when external circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. Every word you've heard, every concept that's resonated, every moment of recognition you've experienced while listening is actually your expanded self confirming that you're on the correct trajectory. These aren't just ideas I'm sharing. These are remembrances of how reality actually operates at the deepest levels. Remembrances that your soul already knows, but your mind has forgotten. The more you return to these remembrances, the stronger your quantum coherence becomes. The stronger your quantum coherence becomes, the faster your desired timeline can collapse into your experienced reality. This isn't linear time manifestation where you wait years for things to change. This is quantum time manifestation where everything can reorganize in an instant. Consider watching this transmission again tomorrow morning to reinforce these quantum patterns in your consciousness. Each viewing deepens the neural pathways that support your new reality. And if someone in your life is ready to understand how consciousness shapes reality, sharing this video creates an energetic ripple effect that accelerates manifestation for both of you by expanding the collective field of conscious awareness. Trust what's unfolding. Embrace what's coming. Step into the receiving frequency. That's your natural birthright. The universe is conspiring in your favor in ways you can't even imagine. Your breakthrough is closer than your next breath. Welcome to the beginning of everything you've been preparing for. Until we meet again in this space of infinite possibility, remember, you are already everything you're seeking to become. The only thing left to do is allow yourself to remember that truth and live from it with every breath, every choice, every moment of your magnificent existence. Speaking of remembering deeper truths, there's another transmission that reveals why quantum manifestation actually works backwards from everything you've been taught. Understanding this reverse manifestation process will completely transform how you approach creating your reality. The principles we've explored today become exponentially more powerful when you grasp this counterintuitive mechanism that makes manifestation effortless rather than forced.